Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün İngiltere'de en iyi 17, dünyada ise 57. sırada olan University of Bristol'da lisans ve yüksek lisans eğitimini Sara'dan ve Mine Hanım'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Sarah, the stage is yours now.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to start off by sharing my screen with you. Okay, perfect. So hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today to learn a little bit more about the University of Bristol. My name is Sarah Ashman and I am the International Market Manager for Turkey at the University of Bristol. I'm also joined by my colleague today, Mine from Educast. Would you like to introduce yourself really quickly?
Hello, everyone. Maybe I can introduce myself in Turkish for everyone, Sarah, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course.
Mine ben, Educast Ankara ofisinin müdürü olarak görev yapıyorum. University of Bristol'un resmi olarak temsilcisiyiz. Sizlere başvuru aşamalarında yardımcı oluyoruz, destek oluyoruz. Sonra şimdi genel olarak üniversiteyle ilgili bilgi verecek. Daha sonrasında ben de Türkçe olarak soru yönlendirmek isterseniz onları cevaplıyor olacağım. Teşekkür ediyorum. Yes, you can continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll be hearing a little more about Educast later and how they can support you in your journey to the University of Bristol. But first of all, what I'm going to do is give you a quick introduction to the University of Bristol and the city of Bristol itself. So hopefully you'll leave today knowing a lot more about the university and feeling a lot more confident about making your decision to study with us. So the city of Bristol then, I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about the city because it is a huge part of why students really enjoy their time with us. So for those of you that haven't visited us before, we are based in the southwest of England and we're marked with the purple dot on the map there. And we are about an hour and a half outside of London, so not too far away from the capital. We are the 8th biggest city in the UK, but by international standards, that's still very, very small. So it's likely to feel more like a town to those of you that are familiar with big Turkish cities. So definitely a city you can really get to know while you're a student here. We're also very well connected, first of all, to the rest of the UK through the rail network, but also to Europe through Bristol Airport, which does make us a really convenient location for exploring and travelling during your time with us. And we are very close also to some really beautiful English countryside areas and coastline that I'm sure you'll be looking to explore. But Bristol itself has a huge amount to offer. Now, Bristol is a smaller city, like I've mentioned, but it very much has the energy of a bustling urban metropolis. So it has that big city feel, but with a friendly and relaxed atmosphere that's really going to help you to feel at home. And what we're particularly lucky for at the University of Bristol is that our university, so our campus, is based right at the heart of the city centre. So what our students really tell us is that they've got the best of both worlds. They get to study at a prestigious and well-established institution, but also in a city that is young, dynamic, and is exciting with always lots of stuff going on, which I'll talk about in a little moment. Bristol is also known as a city that is packed full of arts and culture. We are very creative here. And we are particularly well known for our love of street art and for allegedly being home to the highly secretive street artist Banksy. Most of our students actually walk past the Banksy piece on their way into campus each day, which is pretty exciting and unique to Bristol. We're also often referred to as the festival city, and that's because we are home to so many events, particularly over the summer months. One of the most popular is the one you can see on the screen now, and that is the annual International Balloon Fiesta. During that festival, over 100 hot air balloons from all over the world come to Bristol and launch at one time, which makes for some very spectacular views across the city. And while these are views that usually people would associate with Turkey, it is an experience that is quite unique to Bristol within the UK. Another exciting event that takes place in Bristol every year is UpFest, and that's a really exciting one because it is the largest street art and graffiti festival in Europe. It takes over the entire city, and there are new murals and art pieces for you to see on every street corner, and we'll all take walking tours of the whole city. So another really unique and creative experience that is very unique to Bristol. We're also proud to be a multicultural community. Bristol is diverse, it's a welcoming city, and we are home to people from more than 187 different countries, speaking 91 different languages. And because of that diversity, we're really lucky to have lots of award-winning restaurants that serve delicious foods from all over the world. Including vegetarian, vegan and halal options. And I'd say if you are a bit of a foodie, Bristol is a particularly good place to live. Also, if you're vegetarian, vegan, there's lots of options for you there. So if you enjoy eating out, Bristol certainly has lots of options for you. Now, I've mentioned that Bristol is a smaller city and it is also quite a compact city. But it's also still very green. We do have over 400 parks within the city boundaries, and walking and cycling are by far the most popular ways to get around the city. So you definitely won't need a car and you won't be battling with public transport on a daily basis. It's very, very easy to get around. Bristol's also a city that's committed to protecting the environment. We are a former European green capital, the UK's first cycling city, and we do have an ambitious aim to become carbon neutral by 2030. Just to add to that, we even had Greta Thunberg visit the city just before the pandemic to join the children of Bristol in their climate strike. So a very environmentally conscious city too. And I am obviously a little bit biased when it comes to telling you how great of a city Bristol is. I love Bristol, so I have included some other sources that agree with me. So as you can see, Bristol has been voted the best place to live outside of London, the coolest city, as well as the greenest city as well. And I think all of that combined really makes Bristol a great city for students and for student life. The city itself is actually home to 2 large universities, so the city very much revolves around making sure that students' needs are very well catered to. So it's a very easy place to be a student. But moving on to the university itself then, we think that the University of Bristol is a really great choice, and I'm very pleased that you've joined us today to learn a little bit more. But to give you an idea of why we think it's such a good choice for you and your studies, I'm going to run through some of the rankings and accolades that we are most proud of. We are particularly proud to be ranked top 10 in the UK by QS, as well as 62nd in the world. And for reference, that does place us alongside other world-leading universities, such as, but not exactly the same as, the Ivy League universities in the US. Our academic strength is also demonstrated by 13 of our graduates going on to become Nobel Prize winners, which is pretty impressive. And that's for everything from the cultural analysis of consumption and poverty, all the way through to the study of the genetic structure of viruses, which of course is very topical at the moment. And our research also ranks in at joint 5th in the UK. And I'll talk a little bit more about exactly what that means for you as a student later on. And then finally, our graduates are highly employable. We have a really strong reputation with employers in the UK, but also Europe and beyond, which again, I'll go into a little bit more detail about shortly. And the University of Bristol enjoys a long history of excellence. We have been around for a very long time at this point. We were founded in 1876. And one of our proudest accolades is that we were the first university in England to admit both women and men on an equal basis. And I think what that really speaks to is the very liberal and forward-thinking nature of the university, but also the broader city of Bristol, as I've already mentioned. We are a member of the prestigious Russell Group of universities as well, which you may be familiar with, but what that confirms is that the research we undertake at the university is cutting edge and that it is world leading. But yes, that's going on at the university, but what does that mean for students? And what it means for you is that the content that you will be studying will very much be at the cutting edge of your field, because the academics that are teaching you, so your lecturers, are currently undergoing world-class research, which they feed right back into their teaching. So being a member of or a student at a research-intensive university like Bristol means you will be really learning from world-class experts and studying a curriculum that is informed by world-class research. Now, our course offering at the university is very broad. It does cover a whole range of different disciplines across our 6 faculties, which are the Faculty of Arts, Engineering, Health Science, Life Science, Science, and last but not least, Social Science and Law. Now, I won't go into a huge amount of detail about all of these areas today because there are a lot of them. But what I thought would be useful is to highlight some of the courses or some of the subject areas that have been particularly popular amongst students joining us from Turkey. So for undergraduate or bachelor's courses, our law course is by far the most popular for students applying from Turkey, which is not surprising at all, given that we have been a leading provider of legal education for over a century now. And our law school is based in the Wills Memorial Building, which is pictured on the screen now. So pretty spectacular. But what I think is also great is that this is the building from which all of our students graduate from. So another spectacular place to graduate from, and also makes for some excellent graduation pictures as well. But following that, any course within the Faculty of Social Science and Law that relates to business in any way tends to be particularly popular. International business management is generally the most popular one, but we also offer courses in accounting, economics, marketing as well. And then across the board from Turkey, we get a huge amount of interest in our engineering courses. And computer science is another popular one, as well as aerospace engineering, which leads the way for Turkey. And aerospace engineering is a particular area of speciality for the city of Bristol as well. So we're home to a lot of aircraft manufacturing companies in the city. We do also see a lot of interest in psychology, which is based within our Faculty of Life Science, and that faculty is home to lots of other courses that relate to medicine in any way. So that's biomedical science, pharmacology, anatomy, anything that relates to medicine. We have lots of courses available in that area as well. Now, at postgraduate level, so master's and PhD, it's great to see a lot of interest in our very specialist courses that are very much influenced by that research I've just talked about. So we see Turkish students enroll every year on some very niche courses, but it's excellent to see. So nuclear science and engineering, robotics, volcanology, and advanced microelectronics, just to name a couple of those. And we do, of course, have PhD and research opportunities within all of our faculties. Engineering and health sciences are particularly popular there, but we are pleased to welcome a growing number of Turkish PhD students each year that are studying across all of our faculties. Now, we do offer many more courses than those that I've listed on the screen now, but what that gives you is just a taste of what has traditionally been popular. If you are interested in Bristol, I'd suggest that you take a look at our website to explore the full ranges of courses, or my contact details will be at the end of this presentation, and I'd be more than happy to arrange a discussion with you to look through our courses and see which of those might match your subject interest and see that what we have at Bristol that may suit you. But we know that a huge part of choosing to study overseas is getting the opportunity to really maximise your future employment options and make sure you're as employable as possible when you finish your degree. And at Bristol, that is something that we take very seriously and that we work really hard on with students throughout their degree. And we are very proud to be ranked 9th in the UK for employability, as well as 18th in Europe for employer reputation. Now, there's a couple of different ways that we've achieved this, but the main thing is that we support students as soon as they join us, and our careers service is available to every single student from day one. And we do recommend and encourage students as much as possible to sign up and get involved as soon as you join us. So don't leave it to the last minute in your final year panicking. Engage with the careers service and the employability activities as soon as you can, because there are a huge amount of different ways that the careers service can support you, whether that be advising on CVs and resumes, helping you with job applications, all the way through to interview practice if that's something you feel like you need. What they can also provide is for students that aren't exactly sure where you want to head with your career, they can help you explore your career options and look at any further study if that's relevant for you as well. But like I said, throughout your studies, there will be plenty of opportunities to attend events hosted by top employers from the UK and overseas. You can work on building your professional network. And usually we would have more than 300 employers visit us on campus each year. That is virtual at the moment, by fingers crossed by the time those of you joining us today arrive in Bristol, that will be back in person. There is, of course, support available for anyone looking to work part-time alongside their studies as well. So your visa will typically allow you to work somewhere between 10 and 20 hours per week during term time. So the career service can support you in finding opportunities there. Or if you're looking for internships during the holiday periods as well, they can certainly help you with that also. But what we also have at the University of Bristol is initiatives that improve your employability embedded into lots of our programs. So many of our courses offer the option to gain industry insight through professional mentoring schemes, for example, where students are matched with a professional that's currently working in your field of interest who can support you with your professional development. There is also the opportunity to undergo a year-long professional placement in many of our programs, and that tends to be with one of our industry partners. Or you can work on industry-based projects as part of your degree. So that will expose you to real-world challenges and give you invaluable experience for when you graduate. So what we tend to see on lots of our programs is that some of the coursework will be based on addressing real-world problems. So for our business and management programs, those tend to be consultancy projects with real businesses that have presented us with real issues that they have and are looking for a solution. And our students will help with that. Many of our newer courses have also been designed in collaboration with industry to make sure that we are filling the skills gaps and producing graduates that are industry ready. Engineering design and engineering mathematics are really great examples of those courses that have been developed with industry in mind. And what we find is that graduates from those courses are incredibly employable and go on to really excellent jobs with salaries that tend to be higher than some of their peers. So that's worth considering when you're choosing your course. We also have a number of courses with the option to study innovation alongside your chosen subject. Innovation isn't necessarily something that everyone is familiar with, but what studying innovation does is equip you with the entrepreneurial and innovation skills that you'll need to deliver new and innovative solutions to real-world problems. So if you are a budding entrepreneur, you're interested in starting a business, or if you're interested in startup culture and startup businesses, then Bristol has the support to nurture that ambition as well. We are, as a city, home to the #1 business incubator in Europe, so we are quite a hub of business enterprise. So whatever course you choose to study at Bristol, there will be the opportunity to engage with activity that really enhances your graduate employment options. And as I've tried to demonstrate, there are lots of different ways you can do that to suit what it is that you are interested in. And now I wanted to cover our scholarships because I'm sure lots of you have questions about that today. And we do have a very generous scholarship scheme available at the University of Bristol. It's called Think Big. So that is our scholarship scheme, and it is open to all international applicants. And this year we've increased our investment. There will be £2 million of scholarships available under this scheme, which is really exciting. And the awards themselves, like I mentioned, they are very generous. So for master's courses, they are awarded as tuition fee reductions of £5,000, £10,000 and £20,000, and £5,000 and £10,000 for undergraduate applicants. So what you'll notice is those are not full scholarships, but they can cover a really significant portion of your tuition fees. In some instances, that can be 50% or above, but that would depend on which course you've chosen, but still very generous scholarships. All international students are eligible to apply as long as you've already applied for admission. So as long as you've applied for a course, you are then eligible to apply for the scholarship. The application is directly via our website, and it is very straightforward. It's an online form where we'll ask you to answer 3 short essay questions with 200 words each. And what we're really looking to find out about in the scholarship application is essentially everything outside of your studies. So we're interested to hear about your achievements. What is it that you have accomplished so far that you are most proud of? We're also interested to find about your contributions to community. So how have you been a good ambassador for your community, and how can you continue to be a good ambassador for the University of Bristol? And then finally, we're interested in hearing about your future plans. So how does studying at the University of Bristol help you achieve your career goals and ambitions? So like I mentioned, we're looking to hear less about your academics in the scholarship application and more about what you do outside of your study. So this is not an academic merit-based scholarship. There is no particular score or no particular grade that you need to be considered for this scholarship. Everyone is welcome to apply, and the awards will be given to those students that present the best answers to those questions. The good news is applications are open as soon as you've applied for admissions. So as soon as you've applied for a course, which we'll talk to you a little bit more about after this slide, you can apply for the scholarship directly via the website, like I mentioned. The deadline for undergraduate applications and the first round of postgraduate applications will be the 28th of March. So for bachelor students, do make sure you apply before then. And for postgraduate applications, there is a second round of applications that will close on the 13th of June. So certainly worth an application if you're interested in Bristol, as they are very generous scholarships, and the largest awards are significant discounts on your tuition fees. So do take a look at this if you're interested. But now I wanted to cover quickly how you submit an application to Bristol, as well as what grades should you be looking to achieve to secure a place with us as well. So in terms of the exact grades you need to be achieving to get an offer from Bristol, it does vary from course to course, but generally we are looking for scores between 74 and 85% if you are studying the Turkish high school diploma. That will vary, like I said, depending on the course you choose. We do, of course, accept A-level students as well. We're generally looking for grades between A, B, B to A star, AA. And the IB, of course, is acceptable. Generally, we would be looking for an overall score of 34 with 16 at higher level. We do accept American qualifications as well. If you're studying anything outside of what I've just discussed, or you want to talk about the entry requirements in a little bit more detail, do get in contact with me, because I'd be more than happy to walk you through exactly what our requirements are. For postgraduate courses, generally we are looking for a good bachelor's degree with a minimum GPA of 3.1 or above from an approved institution. Again, if you're not sure whether you're eligible, do feel free to contact me and I'd be more than happy to advise you. We will, on top of those academic requirements, need some sort of evidence of your English language ability. And there are lots of different ways that you can demonstrate that. But generally, the level we are looking for is an IELTS of 6.5 or above, which again will vary depending on the course you choose. But if your undergraduate degree was fully taught and assessed through the medium of English, for example, then please do include that letter in your application, because we often can consider that evidence of meeting our English language requirements. You don't need to meet the English language requirements or the academic requirements before applying, because what we can do is make you an offer that is conditional on achieving particular grades. So don't worry about getting all of this completed before you apply, because it's very common to apply before you achieve your grades in the UK. And for those of you that are looking to improve your English a little bit more before you study with us, we do have a number of pre-sessional English courses as well. So some preparatory English courses if you feel like you'd like a little bit of support before you dive straight into your degree. The good news is that applications for all of our courses are now open. So for undergraduate students, you'll need to apply via a system called UCAS, which is used by most UK universities. It's a relatively straightforward system, and it allows you to apply for 5 different universities in one application. So it's also quite convenient. For anyone interested in postgraduate studies, applications for that level of study are directly via our website. Again, a very simple online form. Each of our courses does have a slightly different application deadline, so do make sure to either check with me or check the course pages before you apply. But most courses will have a deadline that is sometime in July. Having said that, though, courses can close early if we receive a lot of applications. So if you are interested in essentially anything that relates to engineering, particularly robotics, data science, those courses will very likely close early. Last year, they closed as early as January. So if you're interested in engineering, do try and apply before Christmas if you possibly can. And remember, like I said, you can apply before you have your degree results and before you have your English language qualifications, because we can make you those conditional offers. So my advice is to apply as early as you possibly can to avoid disappointment. And it's the application process that EDUCAS can really, really help you with. If what I've just said has confused you a little bit and you don't really know where to start, definitely get in contact with EDUCAS, because we've worked in partnership with them for many, many years. They are experts in placing students at UK universities, and they're incredibly familiar with the process at Bristol University, and they do support students in joining us every year. So I'll pass back over to you, Mine, to tell us a little bit more about what EDUCAS has to offer.
Thank you, Sarah, for the presentation and also for your kind words for EDUCAS. Merhaba arkadaşlar tekrar. Ben kısaca EDUCAS'tan bahsedeceğim. Sarah biraz özetledi ama biz İngiltere'deki üniversitelerin resmi olarak temsilcisiyiz. Bristol Üniversitesi gibi birçok üniversitenin bütün öğrencilerin baştan sona başvuru süreçleri ve sonrasındaki kayıt süreçleriyle ilgili sürecini, işte vize aşaması ve gidene kadarki süreci yönetiyoruz. Ankara, İstanbul ve İzmir'de ofislerimiz var. Ben şu an Ankara ofisteyim. Ama İzmir ve İstanbul ofisten de detaylı olarak bilgi alabilirsiniz. Başvuru evraklarının hazırlanması, okumak istediğiniz bölümle ilgili bölüm araştırması yapılması, başvuru evraklarından kastım genel olarak zaten CV, niyet mektubu, diploma, transkript gibi genel olarak çok fazla belge istenen bir ülke değil açıkçası. Ama niyet mektubunun yazımından CV'nin hazırlanmasına kadar destek verdiğimiz bir sürecimiz var. Başvuru sürecini de aynı şekilde biz yine yönetiyoruz ve sonrasındaki takibini de yapıyoruz. Bunlarla ilgili sorularınız olursa ya da anlamadığınız ya da daha detaylı bilgi almak istediğiniz şeyler olursa buradaki numaralardan ofislerimize ulaşabilirsiniz. Onun dışında chat kısmına ben kendi e-mail adresimi ve telefon numaramı da yazıyor olacağım. Oradan da sunum sonrasında bana ulaşabilirsiniz. Şimdi kısaca soruları cevaplayacağım. Şu zamana kadar yazılmış olanları Sarah ile birlikte cevaplayalım. Sarah, we can just answer the questions if you don't mind. So, starting from the first one, Zeynep, I want to do a master's degree in criminology and sociology. Is there English preparation?
Yeah, so we do have English preparation at the University of Bristol. We've got a couple of different options depending on what level your English currently is. So we have a 6-week and a 10-week course. They have slightly different entry requirements, but yes, we absolutely do have preparation English courses available for you. So yeah, definitely get in contact if you'd like to find out a little bit more about how you can apply for those.
Thank you. Another question. Okay, it's Turkish, but it says, what is the entry requirements for medical faculty? She is asking.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do offer a medicine program at the University of Bristol. It's very competitive, so it's a good question to ask about the entry requirements. If it's undergrad that the student is asking for, which I'm assuming they are, we're generally looking for a score. If you're studying the Turkish diploma, what we're looking for is 85% overall. And we would be looking for 85% in chemistry, first of all, and then one other maths or science subject. And that sort of applies to all curriculum. So whatever it is that you're studying for medicine, we will need a very strong grade in chemistry and also another strong grade in another maths or science subject. We do have additional requirements for medicine as well. So you will need to take the UCAT test, which is a clinical aptitude test. And we weigh very heavily on that at Bristol. So it's one of the most important parts of the application. And it's students that do very well in the clinical aptitude test that then get an interview. So do research into that. You also will need to apply early. So you have to apply before the 15th of October each year. So if you're looking for 2022 entry, it is already a bit late, but you would be preparing in good time for 2023.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one. Marine engineer. Okay, my questions are gone. Okay, I'm a marine engineer. I graduated beginning of the year and also I have approximately 1 year work experience in my job. Do you have any master's degree program convenient for me? Additionally, my profession covers machine engineering to your knowledge. Okay, Semih Bey. Kısaca cevaplayabilirim. Bölümlerle alakalı detaylı olarak bilgi veririz size. Tabii ki istediğiniz bölümde var. Ama tam olarak hangi alanda tez yazmak istediğiniz ve hangi alandan ilerlemek istediğinizle ilgili üniversitelerin bölümlerinin isimleri çoğu zaman alanınızla ilgili aynı olabiliyor. Ama onun dışında aldığınız ders içerikleri üniversiteye değişebiliyor. Bristol Üniversitesi'nde size uygun olabilecek bölümlerin ders içeriklerine, modüllerine arzu ederseniz beraber bakarak gerçekten ilerlemek istediğiniz alanda sizin isteklerinizi karşılamadığına bakarak bir danışmanlık yapabiliriz aslında. O şekilde ilerlemek çok daha doğru olacaktır diye düşünüyorum. Okay. Alright. And you are replying, I think. Eda Hanım, evet, Sara yazmış. Conditional offer alarak sonrasında Nisan-Mayıs ayı gibi IELTS skorunuzu eğer direkt başlayacaksanız, Eylül ayında eğitiminize başlayacaksanız en geç Haziran gibi IELTS skorunuzu yönlendirdiğinizde almış olduğunuz kabul şartsız kabul olarak size geri döner. O yüzden şu anda yakın zamanda başvuru yapmanız çok daha sağlıklı. Çünkü okulların kontenjanları, özellikle Birleşik Üniversitesi'nin kontenjanları çok hızlı doluyor. O yüzden daha hızlı başvuru yapıp şartlı kabul alıp IELTS skorunuzu sonradan iletmenizi ben de daha çok tavsiye ederim. Pre-sessional programları da var. Onu da zaten Sara yanıtlamış. Genel olarak aldığınız skor, IELTS'ten aldığınız skor ve gideceğiniz bölümün istediği skora göre hangi sürede olacağı belli oluyor ve o şekilde pre-sessional eğitimleri de alabiliyorsunuz. Okay. Another question, Sarah, is Turkish. Merve has an associate degree in Turkey, 2-year university. So she would like to continue her studies in UK. So is it possible or not?
It is possible, but it's unlikely at Bristol that you would be able to enter in year 2. So it's likely at Bristol that we would require you to start the degree from the beginning, so in year 1. It's worth doing your research because there may be other universities that allow you to enter into year 2, but at Bristol it will always be year 1 for those with an associate degree. And we would need that associate degree to match quite closely to the discipline that you were looking to study. So for example, if you were looking to do an engineering degree, we would need your associate degree to have a good amount of mathematics content. So yes, we can accept an associate degree, but it would be for first year entry only.
Okay. Ben Türkçe olarak şöyle özetleyebilirim. Genel olarak Bristol Üniversitesi ve diğer üniversitelerde de bu saydırma, yani kredileri saydırarak devam etme durumu birazcık karışık. Şöyle karışık. Türkiye'de bile aslında bir üniversiteden bir üniversiteye geçiş yaparken kredilerinizin bazıları sayılır, bazıları sayılmaz. O yüzden ki hani Türkiye'de bir eğitimi, İngiltere'de bir eğitim sistemleri farklı olan iki ülkede eşitlemek çok kolay olmuyor. Baştan başlamayı göze almanız gerekir ama aldığınız dersler içerisinde sayılabilecekler de olabilir. Ama tamamen transkriptinizin incelenmesi ve gerekir. Her üniversite ve her bölüm açısından da bu farklılık gösterecektir. O yüzden 2 yıl okudum ve kalan 2 yılı da okuyarak mezun olabilir miyim ya da 1 yıl daha okuyup mezun olabilir miyim derseniz o çok mümkün olmayacaktır. Ama dediğim gibi eğer böyle bir şey düşünüyorsanız transkriptinizi iletirseniz okula ileterek detaylı olarak sizin durumunuza özel olarak bilgi alabiliriz. Okay. Can you please tell us about living conditions? Maybe you can answer, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. No, it's a really great question because I've focused very much on the academic side of things, but of course you need to have a comfortable living experience as well. So in terms of accommodation, which I know is a very important thing when you're thinking of moving overseas, we do guarantee university accommodation to all first year international students as long as you apply before the deadline. And we remind you many, many times before the deadline to apply. So accommodation is guaranteed in university approved accommodation. That is, for the most part, in the city centre, so very close to our campus at the university. There are some accommodations that are based a little bit further out, but there is a free bus service included there. In terms of the cost of that, it varies depending on what it is that you want in terms of your accommodation. If you are happy to stay in a single room with a shared kitchen and bathroom, then it will be a bit cheaper. But if you're looking for a completely self-contained apartment with your own kitchen and bathroom, then it will be a little bit more expensive. Generally, accommodation at Bristol is somewhere between £100 and £200 per week. And in total, we advise students to budget somewhere between £9,000 and £15,000 per year for their living costs. And that does include accommodation. So for reference, in terms of living costs in the UK more generally, Bristol, I would say, is somewhere in the middle. It's not the most expensive city to live in, but it's also not the cheapest either. But what you get with that is a really amazing city to live in. So you somewhat pay for what you get. But yes, in terms of living conditions, Bristol's a very, like I mentioned, friendly city. It's a small city. There's only 500,000 people here. And it is very safe because of that. It's smaller. You can very much get to know the city and get to know lots of people within the city. So in terms of student life, it is a great place to be. Like I said, 2 large universities, so plenty of students around for you to get to know and to get out and about with. So yes, in terms of the living costs, it's somewhere in the middle by UK standards, but it is a great place to live.
Thank you. One question for Educas. Evet, biz İngiltere'de doktora konusunda da yardımcı oluyoruz. Bristol Üniversitesi'nde çok fazla doktora öğrencimiz var. Şu anda eğitimlerine başlamış ve bitirmiş olan. Arzu ederseniz onlarla da tanıştırabiliriz sizi. Bütün başvuru sürecinde supervisorlarla iletişime geçme aşamalarınızdan başlayarak gidene kadar master'da olduğu gibi doktora konusunda da yardımcı oluyoruz. Buna tez önerilerinizin düzenlenmesi de dahil. O yüzden eğer böyle bir doktora planınız varsa iletişime geçerseniz bizimle yardımcı oluruz size detaylı olarak. Okay. I don't want to miss the question, that's why I'm just checking. What documents do I exactly need to be able to apply for an undergraduate program? Could you please explain it briefly? Okay. Do you want to answer, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. Was that undergraduate?
Yep.
So in terms of the documents you need, in the first instance, you don't need documentation specifically. So the first step is to submit your UCAS application. As part of that application, we will ask you for all of your academic grades. So any grades you've already achieved and any grades that you are still finishing up. I guess in terms of documentation within the application, what you need is a personal statement. So that is a written piece where you explain to us why you want to study your chosen discipline and why you would like to study at Bristol. So we want to hear that you're committed to your subject and what's led you to make that decision. We do also need a recommendation letter from you. That tends to be from someone in your school. So if you have a school counsellor, they can write it for you, or it can be from one of your teachers. So for example, if you're trying to apply for biology, then it may be a good idea to get your biology teacher to write your reference. But those are the main 2 documents that we need as part of the application process. As time goes on, so if you're successful in getting an offer and you're further down the line applying for the visa, then there are more documents that we will need from you. But in the first instance, it's the personal statement and the reference that you would need to be working on. But later down the line, we will need evidence of your qualifications, so official transcripts. We will need evidence of your English language, so your IELTS test or a TOEFL or something similar. We will, of course, need your passport for visa purposes, but that's all later down the line. I think in the first instance, it's important to look at the application itself.
Okay. Computer engineering yearly school price. I have to check.
Yeah, I can give a sort of, I can't give you the exact tuition fee because it depends on whether you are looking for undergraduate or bachelor's. So our tuition fees at the University of Bristol, like I said, vary per course, but generally they'll be somewhere between £19,000 and £25,000 per year. Our scholarships are 5, 10 and £20,000. So they're not full scholarships, but they are good discounts. They can be up to 15%. So yeah, the tuition is usually somewhere between 19 and 25,000, and then the scholarship is up to £20,000 per year.
Okay.
There's a couple of questions about English language scores, which I'll just address because it'll be easier to save and type. Again, the English language that we require will vary depending on what course you choose. Generally, we are looking for an IELTS of 6.5 or above. I've seen mentions of TOEFL and Duolingo in the chat as well. We can accept TOEFL scores. We are not accepting Duolingo at the moment. That may change, but if I was you, I would plan to do an IELTS or a TOEFL just in case the Duolingo isn't acceptable this year. But what you will see on our website is that there's actually a huge number of English language qualifications we can accept. It's by no means just the IELTS. There are lots of different English language tests that we can accept. The only thing to bear in mind is if you're looking to do a pre-sessional, so if you're maybe aware that your English language won't meet the requirements, then maybe opt for an IELTS, because you will need an IELTS UKVI to get a place on our pre-sessional course. So if you are looking to keep your options open, I'd advise you to take an IELTS. But I hope that's helpful for you in deciding which English test to do.
Denklikle ilgili soruya ben yanıt verebilirim. Denklik, diplomaların kesinlikle denkliği var, fakat eğer hukuk gibi ya da sağlıkla alakalı, tıpla alakalı bir şey okuyorsanız, hukuk sistemleri ülkeler arası ve sağlık sistemleri ülkeler arası farklı olduğu için farklı denklik kuralları ve koşulları var. Onunla ilgili detaylı olarak, eğer ulaşırsanız detaylı olarak bilgi verebilirim. Ama genel olarak bu tarz ülkeler arası sistemleri değişmeyen bölümler için kesinlikle denkliği var.
I can see another question here about internships at the University of Bristol. So like I mentioned in the presentation, lots of our courses will have a built-in placement year or a year in industry. You may also have heard to it referred to as a sandwich year as well. So that is when you spend 1 year in working in industry, so in employment, and gaining work experience while you study. So there are internships available as part of lots of our courses, and our careers service can help you to secure those. But there is also, of course, opportunity outside of that. If you're looking for internships during your vacation periods, then our careers service can support you with that as well. And because we are a highly ranked university with really strong reputations with employers, our students tend to find it relatively easy to secure internships and placements during their studies. So that's worth bearing in mind. But if you're interested in what particular internships our students have done in the past, then do get in contact with me, and I can let you know details of where our students have undertaken internships in the past as well.
Okay. We have one more question about a civil engineering program. You don't have a placement year for civil engineering, right?
I don't know off the top of my head, but what we do, most of our engineering courses do have that opportunity. There's also a couple of courses, engineering design and engineering mathematics, that do have a placement year and will allow you to cover lots of different areas of engineering. So there's certainly the opportunity. And what you can also do is pause your studies and take a placement year. That's not impossible either. So yeah, definitely worth considering. So yeah, there are placement opportunities for most of our programs, not all of them. And I've also seen a question about part-time work, which you are able to do alongside your studies. Typically, your visa will allow you to work between 10 and 20 hours during term time. And our career service, again, can support you in securing part-time work. Lots of that will be on campus and for the university as student workers and student ambassadors. So there's plenty of opportunity to engage with work alongside your studies as well.
Okay. I think that's all, if I don't miss any question.
Okay, perfect. So if that's all the questions everyone has today, you are more than welcome to contact me at the email address on the screen now if you do think of anything later down the line, because I know we've thrown a lot of information at you in a very short period of time. So I'm sure you'll go away with questions, or you'll think of questions later on. But do feel free to contact me if you have any questions at all. I'm also going to change the slide back to Educast's contact details as well. So if you are looking for some support with your application and you want someone to talk to that is in Turkey, that's on the same time zone, and you can meet in person at some point, hopefully, then do get in contact with Educast for some support. But otherwise, that's all from me today. It has been a pleasure to talk with you, and thank you, Mine, for joining me and for helping me out with those Turkish questions as well. But we hope you've learned a lot more about the University of Bristol, and I hope to see you here very soon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Herkese çok teşekkür ediyoruz. İletişim bilgilerimi ben de chat kısmından yazdım. Onun dışında ofislerimizin numaralarını da almışsınızdır. Eğer detaylı olarak sorularınız varsa üniversiteyle alakalı ya da başvuru koşullarıyla alakalı dilediğiniz zaman bizlerle iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Sarah, and also answers, Mine Hanım. You covered all of the questions, and we think it was a really informative webinar for the attendees. And also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. University of Bristol ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adreslerinden Sarah'a ve Mine Hanım'a ulaşabilirsiniz. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Aynı zamanda size alttaki webinarımızı da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you very much again, Sarah and Mine Hanım. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.